there, and welcome to Living Well Wednesday with Rochelle. I'm going to talk today about my choice to use traditional cooking methods when it comes to reheating or preparing my food. So as an example, this is leftover soup that I have frozen in a glass jar. I've decided that this is what I'd like to have for lunch today. And so as opposed to perhaps choosing a very quick method of just pressing a button and letting it roll in a machine, I am going to use a small pot. So this is a stainless steel pot. I tend to choose stainless steel over any other type of cooking product because it cooks evenly and it's safe in my mind. There is no leaching of product into my food, and it's pretty resilient and does clean up fairly well. I'll talk about that in just a moment, whether you're using oil or water. So I prefer to use stainless steel, as I mentioned. So I'll use my pot, I'll heat it up, and I know you might be thinking, gosh, it'd be great to just use one bowl and heat it that way. However, I just have a system in place that I heat it in a small pot like this. As soon as I pour the soup into my bowl, I'm prepping obviously my other things while I get that ready, but I have a cloth ready. I clean it right away and I put it in my dish rack, and so then I don't have to think about the cleanup. I'm on to eating. So the concept takes a little bit of practice, but I've got it down pat now. And the reason why I have this little apparatus here is just to show you. I purchased these at a hardware store, and they come in longer lengths as well. So this is wonderful for my pots and for my spices, for my canned goods, as well as little serving trays, because I'm the type of person that I don't like things hidden. And if I go to grab a pot and it's the one I want is 3 layers down and I'm making all this noise, it is less enticing to use my tools and my pots. So these have been fantastic for me. So I use them in my cupboards, and it gives me an extra layer. I can grab the item that I'm looking for, and I'm good to go. So the other thing I wanted to mention as well is I use metal and wood when it comes to my tools as much as possible, because I just think that's a safer alternative. Sometimes obviously we need to use plastic, but we just want to be mindful when you're using plastic with high heat, right? So again, stainless steel is fantastic. And the other thing I like to do is I have a toaster oven, and so I like to have my pan ready with some parchment paper all ready to go. So as soon as I want to heat something up, I realize that, okay, I just have to grab this, turn on the oven, and within minutes, I'm ready for that. The other thing you'll see here is I have just a couple of dishes, bowls that I like to keep close to the oven, and just has some of my favorite things that I use on a daily basis: my onion, garlic, some ginger, some fresh tomatoes, and some avocado. So these, having them handy and ready to go just makes things so much easier. The other thing I wanted to mention is cast iron is another great alternative as well. And I don't always cook with oil. There is a smoke point issue, and so if you want to look that up online, there are some oils that you can cook with at a higher smoke point than others, like avocado and olive oil as an example. But I sometimes will just use water in my pan, the same amount that I would use in my stainless steel pan, and let that heat up, and then I cook with water instead of oil. And so it changes things a little bit, but for me, I do prefer to do that probably 80% of the time, and sometimes I still use oil, but I just wanted to share these ideas with you, and I hope that you find some goodness in this. I'll also post a couple of links for you, but I encourage you to do a little bit of searching on your own and see what feels good for you and what feels right.